Thanks. You know, it is the video that has now been seen around the world, the elevator surveillance pictures of former Ravens running back Ray Rice punching his fiancée. She went on to marry him just months later. And then the latest NFL scandal to break out of Arizona. Cardinals running back Jonathan Dwyer is accused of abusing his 27-year-old wife and 18-month-old child at his home. It's brought an interesting question to light. Can someone accused of abusing their partner or even their child change? Experts on domestic abuse say 60 to 70% of abusive men who complete a treatment program can actually reform. And joining us this morning to talk more about that is Janie Lacey. She is a licensed mental health counselor. Always great to see you, Janie. Thanks for coming back to see us.
Good to be here, Amy.
So that statistic, 60 to 70% of abusers can go on to reform. Was that surprising to you at all?
Not at all. I do believe that abusers have the potential to change, but there are a lot of factors that need to be in place. And one of those factors, it has to be a long-term treatment program. It can't be a couple of counseling sessions or a one-day workshop. It's a long-term treatment. And those that complete treatment do have high potential for life change.
What happens inside these treatment programs, inside these intensives, that helps to turn these people around?
Well, there's a variety of things that happen, but there are some hallmark things that need to happen in order for change to occur. And the first thing is how they feel about it. Do they genuinely feel remorse and guilt about what they've done? And then secondly, are they accountable? If we hear early on that they're blaming the circumstance, or she did this or she did that, then there's an indication that they're not necessarily going to take accountability. So that would be our first step, is to get them to be at a place where internally they take 100% of accountability for what they've done. And then we move on to some other factors, as far as they have to know that the abuse, the violence has to stop, and they have to understand that. And then we do a couple of other things. You know, they have to be able to be reflective on their own behavior, their own life circumstance. It's never to blame their childhood or the things that they've gone through, but it's important that they take some time to understand where they've come. And sometimes it's learned behavior, sometimes it's what we call situational partner violence. So there's a variety of factors that are involved, but it has to be long term.
Janie, how much of their job plays into their role as an abuser at home? If you have a violent job, whether it be a football player, a boxer, maybe you're a police officer who works in a violent neighborhood, how much of that comes home with you? Is there a connection?
There is definitely a connection, Amy. What we'll tend to see in a lot of our anger management programs or batterers intervention type programs is that more times than not, people come from professional positions where there's a lot of trauma involved. There's a lot of high arousal. They have to be on guard, 100% fight or flight, those types of things. So then when they go home and it's time to relax, it's not as easy to turn the switch off. So we have high reaction rates when it comes to something that may be something very small.
Wow, it really is fascinating. But interesting statistics, 60 to 70% can be reformed. So maybe we can get some help for some of these guys. Janie Lacey, always a pleasure. Janie, your website, please.
They can find us at either OrlandoAngerManagement.com or LifeCounselingSolutions.com.
All right, Janie, always a pleasure. Thanks.
Thanks, Amy.